Butterflies Are Free is Leonard Gersh's first trip to Broadway, and he succeeds admirably with his tender comedy of girl meets boy and the overprotective mother.
Could you come in for a moment, Mrs. Benson?
Well, I have my audition. I really ought to leave in about 15 minutes. I don't know New York, and I get lost all the time.
Oh, please, sit down. I thought you and I could have a little talk together. Oh, just girls together. Could I get you some coffee?
No, thank you. But if that apple is still there, I'll have that. Where's Don?
Shopping. Oh, they put insecticides on these things now. I do like to see apples nice and shiny.
This reminds me of something. What is it? Oh, I know. Snow White. Remember when the witch gives her the poison apple? Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Baker. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. I know you're not a witch.
Of course not. And I know you're not Snow White.
I'll probably have to wait hours for our audition. I mean, I may starve to death before their very eyes.
You're going to get that part, you know.
What makes you so sure?
Well, you're a very pretty girl. That's what they want in the theater, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not pretty. I'm interesting looking, and I think in certain lights I can look lovely, but I'm not pretty.
You know what I like about you?
Nothing.
Your honesty. You're really quite a worldly young woman, aren't you, Mrs. Benson?
I suppose I am. I wish you wouldn't call me Mrs. Benson.
Well, that's your name, isn't it, Mrs. Benson?
Yes, but you don't say it as though you mean it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't I call you Jill? That's more friendly. And I'll try to say it as though I mean it. Now, Jill, you were telling me about your childhood.
I what?
It must have been interesting having all those fathers.
Well, it was, actually. I mean, all Mother's husbands were so different. I was exposed to a lot of different ideas about things, like religion. You know, my first father was a Methodist. The second one was a Christian Scientist. The third one was Jewish. And the last one was Episcopalian.
Doesn't your mother like Catholics?
Well, yes, she likes them, but for some reason Catholics aren't allowed to marry her.
Oh, I would imagine she has an X rating from the church.
It's too bad, you know. She really is nice.
Oh, I'm sure she is. So it was your childhood that made you so worldly and understanding.
Mrs. Baker, I can tell that you didn't ask me in here to talk about my childhood or to tell me how pretty I am.
I was interested in seeing what you and Donnie might have in common. He likes you very much.
Well, I like him very much. I mean, he may very well be the most beautiful person I've ever met. I can't imagine going through life not seeing anything. I'd want to die, but Don wants to live. I mean, he really wants to live, and he can even kid about it. He's fantastic.
Then you really would want what's best for him, wouldn't you?
Oh, now we're getting to it, aren't we? Like maybe I should tell him to go home with you, is that it?
Donnie was happy at home before Linda Fletcher filled him with ideas of having a place of his own.
Well, maybe you just want to believe that he can only be happy with you, Mrs. Baker. I think you deserve all the credit you can get for turning out a really marvelous guy, but bringing up a son, even a blind son, isn't a lifetime occupation. You know, it was Linda Fletcher, not you, who gave him the thing he really needed, confidence in himself. You're always dwelling on the negative. You're always telling Donnie what he can't do and never what he can. What about his music? I bet you didn't even know he could write songs, did you? Well, you're dead right about me, Mrs. Baker. I'm not the ideal girl for Don. But I know one thing, too. Neither are you. And if I'm going to tell anybody to go home, it's going to be you, Mrs. Baker. You go home.